morning, dear hearts, and congratulations. We are now on the final review number 6, part 1 of the workbook. Happens to be my favorite review, and here we are. So we have made great progress, and we will continue to do so. So for today's introduction to the review, and as you know, I'm always saying we must read those introductions. And I know many will skim over it, but there's a lot of really good information and instructions that we are to have and how we are to practice in this review. First of all, our practicing is set up for the morning and the evening, at least 15 minutes each of those times, hourly, and then as often as possible throughout the hour, from one clock strike to the next, to whenever we can to remember the lesson, to remember the central thought for this review, which is, I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. And in subsequent days, we'll go over that even more so, and how it has settled in my mind with that sing-song, almost nursery rhyme sayings, 2 couplets, I guess. So now it tells us something that we have spoken about in different times with different lessons, and that each of these ideas, each just one, would be sufficient for salvation if we learned truly. Okay, each would be enough to give release to you and to the world from every form of bondage and invite the memory of God to come again. And that's the memory of God to come again, because we do have the memory of God within us. We have forgotten it. We simply need to remember the memory of God. And again, the next paragraph tells us that each lesson contains the whole curriculum, because this is, as we have said, a holographic work, that the whole curriculum is contained within each part, in this case within each lesson. There is that number again, 1. We just need one lesson, but we need it fully and completely within our mind, and not to deny it at all, not to question it at all. Don't believe it is not enough, because one is enough. The lesson, the introduction goes on to say that, beyond this, and that's a repetition for the day, beyond this and a repetition of the special thought we practice, the actual lesson, no form of exercise is urged, except a deep relinquishment of everything that clutters up the mind. Clutter are those thoughts that we are holding on to that don't serve us. We're well past the expiration date of them being serviceable to us, because they all are associated with our ego mind and the way we used to think before we started this course. Remember, when we started this course, our mind was completely untrained. And I said then, and I will say many times, that an untrained mind is not sustainable. Well, an untrained mind has lots of clutter in it. We are past that point. We now have, our mind is becoming trained. It's not yet fully trained, but it is so much more so than it was on January 1st. The lesson, the introduction, I keep wanting to call it a lesson, the introduction then says, we will attempt to go beyond all words and special forms of practicing for this review. Beyond all words, if you remember, you may or you may not, in the introduction to the last set of lessons we just completed, it said we were going to start our journey beyond words. We're continuing it. We want to go beyond all words because words are symbols. They are limitations, as the body is a limitation, and we are choosing to go beyond all limits now because our truth is beyond all limits. So no exact structure except for the 15 minutes morning and evening hourly, as often as we can, except it says for one thing, just one thing, do not allow any idle thoughts to come into your mind and to go unchallenged. We don't want any substitute for today's idea. We don't want to get attached to any wrong-minded, small-minded thought. So let no idle thoughts come into the awareness, and to keep them. Because if one does, then we are given these words to say, this thought I do not want, I choose instead. And it would be today's review lesson. The Holy Spirit is in charge here, and we know with Him in charge, we can do this, and we can do this now. We can do this now. We are to forget everything else, let the Holy Spirit be in charge, and know that we are being gently guided towards God's realm, to home, to heaven, however you see it, but to the truth, to the real world. So lesson 201 is, I trust my brothers who are one with me. One with me. Every brother is one with me. And we lead into that with, I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. And my brother is not a body either. He too is free. He too is as God created him. We are one. God created us both without bodies, but with perfect mind thoughts. The lesson has a little bit in italics. Each one does, the review. And this one is, no one but is my brother. Everyone is my brother. And I am blessed with oneness with the universe and God, my Father, our creator of the whole, that is myself, forever one with me. Myself, my big S self. My brother's true identity, like mine, is spirit, and we are like-minded, and because we are both created from the same source, our Father, Creator, God, we are one. We are all one. And again, I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. I hope this helped. Please like, please share, please subscribe, please comment. Please be here tomorrow for the next review lesson. And pray. Namaste.